The centerpiece of this episode is a 19th century portrait of the Merchant family. Stern father, Isaiah Merchant, a barber, his wife, their two young boys, and their adopted daughter, Melanie. In Supernatural, this portrait was painted just before the entire family supposedly died, a murder-suicide, with Isaiah believed to have slaughtered his wife and children. The truth? Not even close. The little girl in the painting is the killer. She's not an innocent victim. She's the spirit haunting the painting and murdering anyone who buys it. Good morning, everybody, and happy day after Halloween. Today's episode of Supernaturalist is the haunted painting of the Merchant family. So welcome back to Supernaturalist, the podcast where every legend has teeth, every ghost has unfinished business, and every object might just be trying to kill you. I hope not. Today we're stepping into the art world, and trust me, this isn't your average gallery experience. Today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 19 of Supernatural, Provenance. A cursed painting, a murdered family, and a child ghost with a straight razor. So let's peel back the canvas. The painting, history in the canvas. The centerpiece of this episode is a 19th century portrait of the Merchant family. Stern father, Isaiah Merchant, a barber, his wife, their two young boys, and their adopted daughter, Melanie. In Supernatural, this portrait was painted just before the entire family supposedly died, a murder-suicide, with Isaiah believed to have slaughtered his wife and children. The truth? Not even close. Melanie, the little girl in the painting, is the killer. She's not an innocent victim. She's the spirit haunting the painting and murdering anyone who buys it. But why? Well, because she killed her parents in life, and she's still killing in death. So why is Melanie Merchant evil? Well, in the episode, Sam and Dean dig into old news archives and discover the twist. Isaiah Merchant was never the murderer. Little Melanie was. And she used her father's straight-edge shaving razor, a symbol of trust, family, and routine, as her murder weapon. In folklore, child spirits are some of the most frightening. Innocence corrupted becomes terrifying, and Melanie's rage, jealousy, or instability followed her into her death. She didn't die remorseful. She died angry. And angry spirits don't move on. So why does burning the painting not work? Sam and Dean do what any hunter would do. They burn the portrait. It goes up in flames, only to reappear later, untouched, hanging perfectly in the gallery where they first found it, and then it's sold to the next victim. But why? Well, because the painting isn't the anchor. The ghost isn't tied to the canvas. She's tied to a physical object that belonged to her in life, something deeply personal, something infused with her identity, her old doll, which is buried with her in the Merchant family crypt. Until that doll is destroyed, Melanie can rebuild the painting and change its scene, reappear, and kill again. And that's why Dean goes straight to the cemetery, and he finds her remains, her hair on the doll, and burns the doll, and it ends her spirit permanently. So, did parents really use their children's hair for dolls? Yes. And this isn't Hollywood imagination. In real life, in the 1800s and early 1900s, it was incredibly common for parents to use real human hair, often the child's hair, to make homemade dolls. Victorian-era families even kept locks of hair from deceased children as memorial keepsakes. I think some people still do that today. So when Dean finds Melanie's doll in the crypt, when with hair that belonged to the real Melanie, that's not just a creepy detail, it's accurate history. And because the hair was real, the doll becomes a powerful supernatural anchor. So, what is provenance? The episode title isn't random. Provenance is an art world term that means the documented history of an item, especially who owned it over time. And in this episode, every new owner becomes part of the painting's deadly legacy. Each sale adds to its provenance, and every buyer dies. The painting's history literally kills people. So, what is Isaiah Merchant's? Was he real? And what about his family? Were they real? No, unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you want to look at it. Isaiah Merchant, Melanie, and the Merchant murders were created just for supernatural. But they were inspired by real Victorian aesthetics. Stern family portraits. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Secrets hidden behind respectable appearances. Children seen but not heard, which was common back in those days. And murder-suicides disguised as tragedy. Supernatural often pairs fiction with historically believable tales and historically accurate tales, enough to make you wonder whether there was a real merchant family somewhere out there in the 1800s. So why does Melanie kill with her father's razor? Well, ghosts in lore usually repeat the weapon or trauma connected with their death. For Melanie, she killed her family with the razor. She uses the razor in death and reenacts the murders endlessly with anyone who owns that painting. This is a supernatural phenomenon known as residual intelligent haunting. Part memory, part consciousness, all rage. The razor becomes her signature. So how is Melanie finally destroyed? Well, we mentioned that earlier. Sam and Dean finally figure it out. The painting isn't the source of the power. Melanie's body isn't her anchor. The doll, with Melanie's own hair, is. Dean breaks into the crypt, finds the doll, salts and burns it, and Melanie's ghost burns with it. No more rebuilding paintings, no more murders, no more merchant curse. But the anchor, burn the anchor, kill the ghost. Supernatural's rule number 1. That's the haunted heart of Providence. A painting stares back. A little girl whose innocence died before she did. And a spirit so strong that even fire couldn't stop her until Sam and Dean found the real tether. So next time on Supernaturalist, we head into Season 1, Episode 20, Dead Man's Blood, where we trade ghosts for vampires. These are pretty common in Supernatural. So until then, lock up your antiques, check the provenance on anything hanging in your hallway, and if a child in a Victorian painting ever seems to smile at you, walk away. Thank you for joining me this morning, and remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to share this episode with anyone you think might enjoy it. Thank you, and enjoy your weekend.